This is a Mercedes W140 S-Class, and for its time, it was always considered to be very special and one of the best vehicles you could purchase in 1992. This one I'm featuring is the 300 SE, the 6-cylinder version, and if you compare it to a V8 or a V12, these are a lot more attainable to purchase and also less complex, and therefore a lot more affordable in terms of maintenance, meaning that this is the sweet spot in terms of the range. And it has been a while since I've featured a classic vehicle on the channel, so don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, and let's get straight into the review. First, a backstory on the W140. Development began in 1981 with a no-compromise approach to creating a benchmark vehicle for safety, comfort, and technology. And throughout the 1980s, various design proposals were studied, engineering prototypes were tested, and a V12 engine was also added to compete with Jaguar and BMW. And this led to a $1 billion plus development costs, making this generation S-Class the most over-engineered Mercedes-Benz to be ever built. And it wasn't until March 1991 the W140 was unveiled to the public for the first time at the Geneva International Motor Show, and sold all the way up to 1998, and you did have a wide selection of colours for both the exterior and interior, the option between short wheelbase and long wheelbase, and depending on specification, a wide selection of standalone options. And there was even a coupe version coded the C140. And key rivals at the time were cars like the BMW 7 Series, the Jaguar XJ6, and the very first Lexus, the LS. Okay, let's talk about styling. The external colour of this example is finished off in a colour code 744U, which is either referred to as brilliant silver metallic or zircon silver for the Australian market. And key highlights on this early version include halogen headlights with orange indicators, whereas on facelifted models, those versions have clear indicators on the side. You also have a two-tone colour scheme down below, the classic horizontal chrome grille, and the three-pointed star on the top. And if we take a look at the side view, this version has the 16-inch 15-hole wheels, and they're also referred to as Gullidexel because they look like drainage covers to what you'll find in Germany. Other things to include an electric power sunroof, chrome on the door handles and window sills, a two-tone colour scheme down below, double glazed windows for improved sound insulation, and this was also the first production car to feature a soft close door function. And if we take a look at the back, you have the classic fluted taillight design, and this is a feature to prevent snow buildup blocking out the lights during winter time. And down the bottom, a two-tone paint combination with chrome on the top, 300 badging to signify that this is the 6-cylinder version, and SE stands for short wheelbase. And on both corners, you'll find two rods which will extend up, giving you guidance when you flick the car into reverse. And finally, tell me your feedback. What do you think of the W140, as styling is subjective? Let's now talk about the interior. Like any well-kept W140, the cabin is simple, but it is a nice place to be seated. And the combination of this example is finished off to what is referred to as leather blue. And this car is almost 35 years old, and it's definitely stood the test of time. It feels solid everywhere you touch, and there are materials such as MBTEX vinyl on the dash, doors, and burl walnut wood grain on the dash and door panels. There is also a leather 4-spoke wheel, which does feel very nice to grip onto, and that offers both electronic tilt and reach adjustment. The seats are finished off in leather upholstery with perforation to keep you cool in summer, and include electronic seat adjustment, lumbar, and a memory function for the driver. And down here, automatic climate control. This car also has its original Beca Mexico cassette player, which also includes AM, FM, and a CD stacker in the boot, along with a premium sound system, which did sound good when this car was new, but not so great today. And looking further to the right, your light switches and safety features include cruise control, a driver's side airbag, ABS braking, and down by the window switches, you'll find a toggle here to electronically control the two mirrors, And if you flick it into the middle position, that also controls your electronic rear view mirror. And over here, a set of dials with the classic Mercedes-Benz orange needles. And on the left-hand side, a fuel gauge, fuel consumption, operating temp and oil pressure. And on the right, rev counter and clock. What about storage? You've got a soft leather console here, which is adjustable, and you can fix that into position for elevation. Down the bottom here, if you open up the wood grain section, more storage to keep items hidden. And over here, an ashtray with a cigarette lighter. There's also a top glove box here and a decent sized glove box. And if you open this up, you'll find things like a cup holder, pen holder, and a section there for coins. Up the top here, vanity mirrors behind the sun visors, and I'll carefully open those up. As you can see, they're intact, and carefully close them because they do break off. On the doors, a bit of storage to keep items hidden. That section is pretty useless, but what isn't so useless, well, especially back in the 90s, central locking, which was uncommon during that period, and the key itself slots into the ignition. Here in the back, despite this being an SE short wheelbase opposed to a long wheelbase, I've still got plenty of knee room, toe room and headroom. However, in the middle, that will only be suitable for smaller people. But I've got to say, it is very cushiony back here. You'll also find a set of air vents, map pockets behind the seats, ashtrays on both sides of the doors, a flip down armrest which is also nice and soft, and vanity mirrors back here as well, which are still working, so I'll carefully close those up. Grab handle here, lighting on the two C-pillars, and this light here can only be activated by the chauffeur. And the driver can also fold down the headrest to improve visibility. And finally, on the top here, you'll find the location for the original first aid kit. Okay, let's talk about boot space. You push this button, a silver piece comes out, you lift that up, and that is going to reveal 425 litres of cargo capacity. And as these were used as chauffeur vehicles, you can fit 2 carry-on suitcases back here, a single large suitcase, and you've also got a cutaway section here, and over on the left-hand side, a CD stacker, which does still work, and that is what the cartridge looks like. And looking under the carpet piece, you'll find a toolkit, and when you lift up the plastic piece, that is going to reveal the jack and spare wheel. And this car also has all of its original factory literature, including all of the books, the Mercedes-Benz warning triangle, which is still intact, and finally closing the boot, that self-closes as well. Before we go for a drive, let's cover off the powertrain. This engine block is referred to as the M104.990, and it's a naturally aspirated inline 6-cylinder, which roughly develops around 170 kilowatts and 315 newton meters of torque. And it's all paired to a 4-speed auto, sending power to the rear. And this was also a show car. You can see that by looking at the plastics. The components such as the ABS, it is pretty much as good as it gets for a W140, and it also outbeated my car at a concourse event by Mercedes-Benz. Okay, driving impressions. Over the bonnet there's decent forward visibility, good side vision, wing mirrors are a good size, and at the back rear vision is also great as well. And those guides that pop out do make parking a bit easier, because this car does feel big. It is wafty, and you do come across a bit of body roll, but it does not feel outdated like a Jag, for example. You do have speed sensitive steering, and what that does is lightens the steering feel at low speeds to make it much more manageable, and when you are out on the freeway, the steering stiffens up to make it more direct and controllable. The cruise control still works, and that works fine, nothing too advanced. The suspension also feels nice gliding over bumps, which is to be expected for a big S-Class saloon. The cabin is also quiet thanks to the double glazed windows. All you hear are the indicators and the air conditioning controls, and it does make the whole experience quite relaxing. The brake pedal feel is smooth and responsive for a car from this era, and the throttle response is nice and smooth. You can hear that inline six. It makes a good exhaust sound. It does take its time building up speed because this does have a 4-speed automatic, which is also vacuum controlled. So not as quick compared to a V8 or V12. Does this feel special? Well, to me, a Mercedes-Benz person, it does, because it is a low mileage, well-kept example, and I do appreciate it. But for someone wanting a classic car for the weekend, this isn't going to feel special. But then again, this is going to be much more reliable and less expensive to maintain compared to a Porsche or a Jaguar. And an SL or even a CL might be a little bit more fun to own, or especially an SL, just a little bit more enjoyable as a classic car. And what about fuel consumption? There is no trip computer, but to give you an idea, you should get around 500 Ks out of a tank around town, and on the freeway just under 1,000, because it does have a long range fuel tank and it does sit low on the rev range at high speed. So with driving impressions out of the way, let's finish off with a verdict. So a conclusion on the W140 S-Class in 300SE specification. If you do find an example unloved, it is going to be a nightmare. But if you do find an example well-loved, up-to-date service history, you are going to love it, but you need to be a Mercedes enthusiast to truly appreciate it. But tell me in the comments below, do you think the 300SE is a better option compared to a V8, V12? Let me know your feedback, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell. Also let me know what you want me to feature next, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.